morning, teacher friends. Today we are going to take a look at Pear Deck. Pear Deck is definitely an oldie but a goodie, and it has come a long way. I know it's changed a lot. It's got stuff like Edge Elastic and a lot of other things all rolled into it now. It's a big comprehensive package, but we're going to look at just Pear Deck for Google Slides, and we're going to look at just the free stuff. What can you actually do with free Pear Deck? So let's jump on over and take a look at that. Pear Deck is just a Google Slides extension that adds to Google Slides. It is not something that we're going to do directly here through the website, but let's go ahead and hit create and see what we get here. We're going to create a custom lesson, creating a new Google Slides file. So there you go. When we say that we want to create something in here, it is going to just put us over into Google Slides. It is giving us directions here on how to install the add-on. We just go up here to the extensions menu, add-ons, get add-ons, and we would search for Pear Deck. There it is, and I'm going to install Pear Deck, and yes, I want to continue, and I'm going to pick my school Google account, continue, allow, continue, all the way through, right? It's thinking, boom, it's done. Closing that out. Now I've got my menu here where I'm going to be able to work with my Google Slides presentation. But I don't want to work with this brand new one here. I'm going to work with a presentation I've already got. So let's pop on over and find that. We can just go straight to our Google slide that we're going to be working with. So I've got my Google slideshow here, and what we're going to do is go up here to the extensions and then Pear Deck for Google Slides and open Pear Deck. We've got a little Pear Deck menu that opens over here on the side, and what we're going to do at this point is we are going to go and add our question information into our slide here with the Pear Deck menu. What Pear Deck does is it gives you a way to ask some questions to your students as you're moving through your presentation. You can see that I do not have access to drag and drop or drawing questions because my 30-day free premium ran out a long time ago. So I'm on a free account here. So everything that we're going to be doing today and looking at is something you can do for free without having to be signed up for anything extra. Got my slide here about the water cycle, and I'm going to have taught this slide. The thing with Pear Deck is your question has to be on your slide. When you go to add these question and answer choices here, it's just the answer choices and not the question. So you've got to have the question on the slide. So what I like to do is just make a copy of my slide, and then I have the question added on here. So what I am showing you here is that you can add your question just by adding a shape and a box to the screen and typing your question in there, or if you got the time and you want to go into Canva or someplace else and make a little fancier question, you can do that as well. Question is, what do water treatment facilities do with the water? And that answer is up here in this square. So depending on how kind I want to be, I could shrink this down and have that square still visible, or I can just make sure I'm covering up that square if I don't want them to be able to see the answer. This is going to be a text answer, so I'm going to select the text there. And what this does is it's adding a text answer box for your students on there. I don't need to do anything else to it. I'm not adding an answer key or anything. It's just going to gather some check for understanding generic information. However, it is going to require them to log in with their Google when they're accessing this Pear Deck, so I will have all the data at the end in the spreadsheet. Okay, I've answered question 1 with my students, or let them answer it. We've discussed it in class. We're moving on, teaching about the water cycle, and now I have my next slide. I've got my question. Which of these is not part of the water cycle? This is going to be a choice answer question because I want them to tell me which one is not. I do want it to have condensation as an answer choice. I do want it to have precipitation, and I do want it to have evaporation. To go ahead and add another answer that is the wrong answer to see if anyone picks that. We're going to go with erosion. I'm going to update my slide, and now those 4 answer choices are going to be on there when I launch it for the students to see. Then moving on, I'm continuing to teach more and more about the water cycle. My slide 6 and my question 3, how many examples of precipitation did the presentation? This is going to be a number answer choice. I'm going to add an answer choice of a number selection, so they're just going to be asked to type in a number, and then up on my results, it's going to give me a number line with all the answers that children entered. So there's question 3. We've done text, we've done choice, and we've done number. The next one says website, and what that is it's going to allow you to link out to another resource, another activity somewhere else. For mine, I'm using a Google form. I've got a Google form that I made already. So I'm teaching. I'm reviewing everything about the water cycle here on slide 7. Then I'm moving on to slide 8. And slide 8 here is where I'm going to add my website link. So I'm going to go to this water cycle quiz that I've made, and I'm going to go to the send thing here and the copy link, and I'm going to copy that link, which I'm then going to take back over here, paste it into the web address bar there, and then click update slide. And what that's going to do is it's actually on the student screen, it's going to slide the Google slide over and put the whole Google form on the screen for them there as well. So we have added a text, a multiple choice, a number answer, and an outside link. All the options that we can do with the Pear Deck here. Let's go and see what it looks like from the student perspective. And let's just put it as a student-paced activity. So you can assign this out as a student-paced activity so that you're not waiting on all your students to catch up and give you the answers, or you can do it together as a class and review everyone's answers as they come in up on the screen. Notice I'm on my free account because it's asking me if I want to upgrade to the dashboard so I can see all the fancy stuff, but I don't, right? I don't want to spend any money on that. I've got a code here for my students to join this. They are going to go to joinpd.com, and it's not join.pd because I kept typing that yesterday, and join.pd is like to join the Anchorage Police Department. Need my code. It's asking me how you're feeling today. It's Friday morning. I'm off to a good start here, so I'm going to say I'm doing all right. That's an option. You can turn that off if you do or don't want to question your students about that. So we are in the activity here. I'm reading through the slide. I'm studying about the water cycle, and I feel confident in everything that I've read there. I'm moving on to the next slide. Oh, I've got a question. What do water treatment facilities do with the water? I'm just going to say they drink it. I'm reviewing, I'm continuing, I'm reading more and more about the water cycle and evaporation and conduit. Slide number 4, which of these is not part of the water cycle? So I've got multiple choice this time, and I'm going to pretend I know what I'm doing and pick erosion. I'm moving on to slide 5. I'm going through this lesson. I'm learning more and more about the water cycle. And now I've moved on to slide 6, and I've got another question. How many examples of precipitation did the presentation list? So I'm going to say that there were 3. I'm moving on to slide number 7. And again, I'm studying and reviewing and learning more and more about the water cycle. And boom, I've moved on to slide number 8. So it has pushed my Google slide over to the side, and it has embedded the quiz that I made here about the water cycle. And I'm going to submit that. Oh, cannot submit form. Try opening in a new tab. No problem. We're just going to click open. It's going to pull it over to a new tab, and it's got all my answers in it still. Just hit submit one more time. Just like that happens to me all the time whenever I try to do this in a Gmail. So I have submitted my quiz. I've gone all the way through this as my student. Student's gone. He's not connected anymore. I'm going to go ahead and close the X on there. And let's move through this presentation. So we're on slide 2 here. We can now look at the responses. So if we were live in class, we'd have everyone's responses on here where we can scroll down through them. Going back over it now as the teacher, after the student's already completed it, I can just check and see what kids are answering. Again, at the end, I'm going to get a spreadsheet, which is going to tell me everyone's name and everyone's individual answers. I'm going to hide the response, and I'm going to go moving on to slide 3. We've talked and taught about it. Moved on to slide 4. Let's look at our answers here. We can see that this is our multiple choice question. It would tell us how many children in the class chose each answer. I'm going to hide responses and move on. Slide number 5, talk and learn and teaching. Moving on to slide number 6, how many examples of precipitation did the presentation list? So I'm going to pull up my answer choices here, and as you can see, it gave me a number line, and it plotted my one answer there as 3. People have chosen other answers. It's going to adjust the number line as well to fit in with the variety of answer choices that you receive. Hiding my responses. Moving on, question 7, our end of thing review here. Question 8 is on a Google form, so it is not going to give me any student answers here. Okay, that is going through Pear Deck as the student and as the teacher. Super easy. It's just a way to plug in some little check for understanding questions to your pre-existing presentation. The next thing we want to look at, and probably the last thing here, is the session history. This is where I can go to find the data of what happened during my session. And again, every time I click somewhere else, it's asking me to upgrade. I'm just going to keep clicking not right now because I'd rather click not right now than spend money. Here is the last thing we did today at 7:25 a.m. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the 3 dots over here. Let's go ahead and end the session. Now I've got my export to spreadsheet data. It's pulling this up here. Do you sure you don't want to do it? I don't, not right now, thanks though. See, still got my data, even though I'm not on a premium account. So I know that this student submission here was EdTech Mr. Brown. I've got his email and I've got his answers to all 3 of the questions. If I want the answers to his Google form, I would go to the Google form. Guys, that's Pear Deck. That's what you can do with Pear Deck for free. It is just another way to kind of enhance your presentation and your slideshow, and pop in some check for understanding questions as you're moving through it. Maybe you identify some issues with comprehension over part of the topic you were covering. Now you got time to go over it right now before you move on to the next part. Pear Deck, awesome, love it. This is what we can do for free with Pear Deck. Check it out, enjoy it, have a great time. Thanks for checking out the video today. Appreciate y'all.